Hey, what's up guys, it's Vohcalize here. I hope you guys are enjoying your day or night. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how you can build faster and edit faster on old school controls, what I think are the best edit binds, key binds, and everything for old school. I do this every season, so this is specifically for just season 11. Hope you guys enjoy this video. So the first thing I want to do is just go into my settings, show you guys my binds, show you guys my editing sensitivity, my build sensitivity, my XY, and everything. And I'm going to try to explain why I think they're really good to use. So in my settings, if I go to my XY, I used to play on like a 6.9 to 7, and I thought that was really good, but I was actually lacking in doing faster 90s, and they didn't look as clean. So I raised my XY, and it also has helped my flick shots a lot. And what I did was lower my build sense to a 1.5, and it's made it a lot easier. I'm telling you, those are really good settings. 8.5 XY with a 1.5 building sense. You'll notice that your 90s look better on old school. Another thing I want to mention is old school 90s look a lot different than Builder Pro 90s. They're completely different, and people think that they're choppy, but they're really not. They're actually smooth, and they're just as fast as Builder Pro 90s. It just doesn't, because we use turbo build, so it is different. So edit mode sensitivity, I frequently like this higher. I think a 1.7 or above is really good. I mean, everyone is comfortable with their own sensitivities, so you do want to play what you're comfortable on. But if you're trying to increase your edits and stuff, like the speed of them, try raising this to like a 1.67 or even higher and work with it. It's helped me edit a lot faster. So now I'm going to go over my combat controls and build controls and what I use to edit with on old school. A lot of people think this is kind of like insane, but I use right on the D-pad to edit, and I don't use sprint by default, and I don't play claw, and it's actually good. Surprisingly, editing has become really good on the D-pad. If you play on old school and you still hold circle to edit, trying to edit with something on the D-pad and you don't play claw is good. If you sprint by default, you can still use D-pad to edit, but L3 is also very comfortable. But I'm telling you, if you work with D-pad edits, they're actually really smooth. I can actually non-claw press in my left stick on controller and still move and run and edit at the same time. And I'm going to show you guys examples of that. But my other settings right here are, I use R1 as pickaxe. I don't like holding for my pickaxe. I do have the option to still, so I go forward with triangle, but I go back with R3, and I've been using that for a while. It's really smooth. A lot of people do go back with R1 as previous weapon, but I just couldn't get used to that, and I didn't like it at all. So for my build controls, I do basically 90s. I do 90s on old school, but I do have a custom pyramid, and I've been using this for a long time. It's very good. The best non-claw pyramid, in my opinion, is L2 for roof piece. I used to use R1 like 4 seasons ago, 5 seasons ago, and that was it's not the greatest. L2 is the best non-claw move, and honestly, you'll notice in here in my build controls, I don't keep my emotes and stuff on sometimes. You'll notice on my combat controls and build controls, sometimes I take my emote button off, and especially in the edit controls, because if you're using D-pad as an edit, sometimes you'll accidentally go into your emotes as you're trying to edit. So just a fair warning. And yeah, that's basically it for those are my standard build controls, combat controls. So right here, I just call the old school version of FIFO coning. So if you're trying to retake high ground, a lot of people are always asking what are ways to, try to retake high ground. I use this method and it works out pretty good, and this is kind of what it looks like, so it's harder to get shot. So a lot of people ask me on old school, how do you place a pyramid, place the flat, and then edit through it, and then stair back up? So what I do is about at this point on this stair, I place the pyramid, I reset back to my wall, and I place the flat, and then I edit through, and then obviously stair up. Or you can place, if it's easier for you, you can place the flat and then the stair, just like that. it does take a lot of practice. So you kind of just want to start with, even if you don't have the pyramid, you can just switch to your cone and still do the same thing, because it's right after your stair, and then once you reset, you place the flat and then edit through. And like I said, if you don't play sprint by default, you can still do it, because I edit with D-pad and I still could do it. So that's one thing that a lot of people ask me, how do you do that? They can't do it. It's just a lot of practice. Like, I can sometimes do that right there. That takes a lot of practice, placing a double cone and then placing the flat, but then editing through. The thing is, it's just all about timing, because you got to catch the stair right there. But it's possible to do. So another thing I wanted to show you guys was basically flooring and coning. Like, so a lot of people can't do this on old school, and that's why I tell them that they should use a custom pyramid bind. Like, so say you're getting height on someone, but you know, a lot of people on old school, they'll just place the flats. But when you have the custom pyramid, this is a lot easier to do. It just takes momentum, where you place the flats, and then you can place the cones over them like this. And it's just getting like the motion down. So basically, you're just going to your flats, pressing your pyramid bind, resetting, going back to your flats, and then just finding the motion for it. It just takes practice. If you don't play claw, you can actually do it, but it's still hard. That's why I think the pyramid for the bind is really good. That's just for extra protection for high ground, or, you know, boxing up and stuff like that. See, what I try to do is implement a lot of pyramids in my build battles or build fights, because it's really clean and people get really confused when you overlap them. So that's something that you might want to try to do. So guys, that's about it. What I really do is I just practice a lot, go into public games, go into creative, and try to learn new techniques. If this video helped you out, drop a like for me, and if you're an old school player, you can always drop your epic down below and I can add you, or we can play or talk sometime. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.